Three dire wolves are alive right now. They are fully grown, they are hunting together, and almost everything that has been reported about them has missed the most interesting parts. These are 15 facts about Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi that most people have never heard. And by the end of this list, you will understand why the scientists watching them are not just surprised, they are genuinely unsettled. Fact 1. Romulus started exploring alone when he was a few days old. Most newborn wolf pups stay close to the group for weeks. They are vulnerable, they do not wander. Romulus was different from his first days of life. Colossal's manager of animal husbandry, Paige McNichol, described him as a very brave pup and the first to go exploring on his own, even when he was just a few days old. He was not domesticated, he was not trained, he was just Romulus, already doing things the baseline did not predict. Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. Fact 2. They started howling at 2 weeks old. 2 weeks, not months. From a very young age, the pups acted like wild wolves, not dogs. They started howling at just 2 weeks old. For context, domestic dog puppies typically vocalize with whimpers and barks in their early weeks. Howling is a coordination behavior, a pack behavior. These animals were coordinating before they could properly walk. Parola Analytics. Fact 3. They were built from a 72,000-year-old skull. The DNA used to reconstruct the direwolf genome did not come from one source. Colossal took DNA from a 13,000-year-old tooth and a 72,000-year-old skull and made healthy direwolf puppies. The skull is older than modern human civilization by a factor of roughly 36. The tooth predates the end of the last ice age. Both pieces of material held enough recoverable genetic information to identify the edits needed to reconstruct the species. The fact that usable ancient DNA exists in either specimen at that age is itself one of the more remarkable facts in this entire story. Fact 4. Only 20 edits separated them from a gray wolf. The entire physical difference between a dire wolf and a gray wolf, the broader skull, the thicker fur, the heavier build, all of it came down to 20 unique precision germline edits, including 15 edits from ancient gene variants. 20 edits across a genome of approximately 19,000 genes. That is 0.1% of the total genome, producing an animal that looks, sounds, and behaves measurably differently from its closest living relative. The efficiency of that result is either impressive or deeply strange, depending on how you look at it. Time fact 5. They never acted like dogs, not once. Their surrogate mothers were domestic hound mixes. They were bottle-fed by humans. They grew up in closer proximity to people than almost any wild wolf ever has, and none of it mattered. From day one, they have always behaved like wolves and have rarely shown dog-like behavior, McNichol said. The domestication signal that thousands of years of dog breeding produces was simply not present. Whatever Colossal edited into these animals included something that bottle feeding and human contact could not override. Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. Fact 6. They showed stalking behavior as puppies. They showed natural stalking and hunting instincts, hunting leaves and moving objects. Stalking is a predator behavior that requires specific neurological wiring. It is not play in the way domestic puppy play is play. It is the beginning of a hunt sequence. These animals were running hunt sequences on leaves before they had ever seen prey. The behavior was already in them before the world gave them anything to use it on. Parola Analytics. Fact 7. Even their caretakers could not get close. The wolves are shy around people, even their caretakers. They keep their distance and will back away if a person gets too close. The people who fed them from birth, who kept them alive through their most vulnerable weeks, who were the only living things these animals knew in their first months, could not approach without triggering retreat. The wildness did not erode, it held, completely. Parola Analytics. Fact 8. Romulus was on track to exceed 140 pounds at 1 year old. At 6 months, Romulus and Remus weighed approximately 80 pounds each. By their first birthday, the numbers had changed significantly. A year on, Romulus and Remus have grown quite large, weighing more than 120 pounds each, with Romulus on track to exceed 140 pounds. Both currently consume more than 5 pounds of meat daily, fed a varied diet of ground meat and stew-sized chunks. A large male gray wolf typically weighs between 70 and 110 pounds. Romulus, at 1 year, was already at the top of that range and still growing. The genome edits targeting body size were expressing exactly as designed, and the body was not done yet. Time fact 9. They were revealed to the public 5 months after they were born. Romulus and Remus were born October 1, 2024. The public announcement came April 7, 2025. Colossal announced the direwolves to the world in April when Romulus and Remus had just hit 6 months old and their sister Khaleesi was 3 months. 5 months of the most significant biological achievement in history existing in a secured facility in an undisclosed location with essentially nobody knowing about it. The operational security required to keep 3 growing animals secret for 5 months while managing a team of caretakers, veterinarians, and researchers is its own remarkable logistical achievement. Fact 10. Khaleesi lived separately from her brothers for months. When Khaleesi was born in January 2025, she did not immediately join Romulus and Remus. The introduction process was careful and staged, one brother at a time, supervised, monitored. The concern was not aggression exactly. It was the complexity of introducing a younger female into a social dynamic that 2 males had already been building for months. The introductions were cautious and closely supervised, introducing her to one brother at a time to start. At that stage, the focus centered on ensuring the animals could safely coexist. They could, but it took time. And the fact that the introduction required this level of management tells you something about how genuinely wolfish the social dynamics already were. Fact 11. They are now a functioning pack. As of early 2026, the staged introductions and supervised coexistence are over. Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi now eat together, play together, and attempt hunts together. What began as a monitored introduction for limited periods of time has developed into a stable social structure. 3 animals from the same extinct blueprint, born months apart, introduced carefully, are now operating as a unit. They have a social hierarchy, they coordinate. They are doing what wolves do, except they are the only animals of their approximate kind in the world, and the social structure they are building has no reference population to compare it against. Fact 12. Romulus celebrated his first birthday with a custom cake. This one is less unsettling and more just genuinely surreal. Romulus celebrated his first birthday with a custom-made cake from Mishka Dog Bakery in San Francisco. A de-extincted apex predator reconstructed from a 72,000-year-old skull celebrated turning 1 with a bakery cake. The contrast between what these animals are biologically and the human context they exist inside is never more visible than in that specific image. It is either heartwarming or deeply strange, depending on your disposition. Probably both. Fact 13. The technology used to build them simultaneously saved the red wolf. This fact gets buried under the headline every time. The same cloning and genetic technology developed for the dire wolf program was applied directly to conservation of a living species. Gene editing technology is saving endangered red wolves right now. 4 red wolf pups produced from 3 different genetic founder lines using the same surrogate protocols built for the dire wolf project. The red wolf population has fewer than 20 individuals in the wild. The genetic diversity increase from those 4 pups represents a measurable improvement in the species' long-term viability. The de-extinction program produced a conservation tool as a byproduct, and the conservation result is arguably more immediately important than the headline animals. Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. Fact 14. The company that built them is now worth $10.2 billion. When Colossal launched in 2021, it was a biotech startup with a bold claim and no living results. The $10.2 billion valuation proves commercial viability of de-extinction technology. 4 years later, it has 3 living dire wolves, 4 red wolf pups, active programs for the woolly mammoth, thylacine, dodo, moa, and bluebuck, an evaluation that places it among the most valuable biotechnology companies in the world. The dire wolf announcement was not just a scientific milestone. It was the event that transformed de-extinction from a research project into an industry. And industries move faster than research projects. Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, Fact 15. Nobody outside Colossal had seen them move until February 2026. For 16 months after their birth, public footage of the dire wolves was controlled completely by Colossal. Still images, managed releases, carefully selected moments. The first time anyone outside the company saw Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi actually moving as a pack in their environment was footage released at Colossal's new Dallas headquarters grand opening in February 2026. Colossal's dire wolves, now fully grown, move through the snow and enjoy a meal in what seems to be the perfect environment for their thick white coats. No one outside the company had seen the footage yet. Fully grown, moving together, in snow, looking exactly like the animal the genome promised they would be. And the most striking thing about the footage was not their size or their coats. It was how they moved together, like a pack that had been practicing for a very long time. 15 facts. One species that has been gone for 12,500 years. 3 animals that are currently eating 5 pounds of meat a day, running coordinated hunts, and building a social structure that no living wolf has been part of since the Ice Age. The science behind them is contested. The legal status is unresolved. The ecological implications are entirely unanswered. But the animals are real. They are fully grown, and they are nothing like what anyone expected. If the full story of what this company is building next is what keeps you watching, our last video covers the part that changes everything. Watch Colossal just announced the next animal. Dire wolf was practice. Next, 6 species, 1 pipeline, a mammoth embryo attempt happening right now, and a $10.2 billion company that has stopped asking for permission.